I couldn't wait to get my license. What's the big deal? Freedom. No more bumming rides. Freedom to go where I want, when I want, well, most of the time. Like, I've got a choice right now. It's Friday. The night is young. I've got the car. My choices are check out a rousing round of Jeopardy with the folks, or get out of here. Well, that was an easy choice. But now the choices start to get a little bit tougher. Like, the big game is starting in 5 minutes and we're not going to miss out. So, do we speed or take the time to buckle up? And then later on, one of the toughest choices of all, to drink or not, to drink and drive or not. That's what this video is all about. The choices that people have. We're going to meet some people whose lives have been affected either by their own or someone else's bad decision to drive drunk. You'll find that they all have one thing in common. The effects are more far-reaching than any of them might have imagined. There's Tom. That's not his real name. And Barry. That is his. They're both nice guys, and they both chose to drive drunk. There are wives and a couple of kids, a DA, and even a bartender. What Tom and Barry did changed their lives forever, too. Then you're going to meet two very special moms who share a common tragedy, losing a child to drunk driving. Their stories are not unique. What they're doing about it is. It's a choice they've made to deal with such an overwhelming loss. Along the way, we're going to hear from some other folks who were also affected in a very big way by the choices of others. They're paramedics, state troopers, and police officers. We usually don't think of them as being impacted, but they are. When it comes to everyday choices, me and my friends usually stick together and do the right thing. But sometimes the peer pressure is there to do the wrong thing. I've been lucky so far. I haven't made any mistakes I couldn't fix. Most things I've messed up, I can just do again. Most things I've been able to fix. You know, bad hair day, flunked a test. But some things can't be fixed. I know I'm not supposed to drink. I know the law is 21. But that doesn't keep me and my friends from getting our hands on alcohol if we want to. I've got to start thinking about how I want to deal with it and what choices I'm going to make about it, because some things can't be fixed.
I think one of the hardest things as a police officer to do is to go and tell somebody that a member of their family has died. And it makes me want to break down in tears, and I can't because I have the badge on and I'm supposed to be this person that doesn't have any feelings at the moment, and then take it home and deal with it.
Spur of the moment, they feel like they're going to be immortal and nothing's going to happen, and I'm going to go in, this vehicle that's solid steel down the road at high rates of speed and never realize that in a flash, I'm not going to change my life, but I'm going to change the life of all these people that are with me. And the fact that lots of times we have to deal with surviving that mentality of, don't you understand, you're not just out here playing.
As I was getting ready to leave, from what I understand, the bartender had tried to stop me.
And I told him that he absolutely could not drive, that I would get him a taxi, and could I please have his keys.
The bartender had attempted to take the keys, and in fact took the keys from this driver who had consumed too much alcohol at a particular bar in this community.
She took my keys from me, and I didn't need keys to start my vehicle. I thought that, that this was a challenge. She's going to call the police. I live, 10 minutes from the bar. If I really hustle, the police couldn't get here. Between the bar and my house, I went through an intersection and I struck another car, killing the woman who was driving it instantly and seriously injuring her 2 daughters. And I had, somewhere inside of me, I had this feeling that something terrible had just happened. you know. I mean, I knew I hit something.
As the story unfolded and I found out there were 2 young children that were critically injured too, obviously it got to be my worst nightmare.
This is a case that I thought about often through the night, that I would wake up thinking about.
It's been one day at a time of facing up to the fact that my husband killed 2 people, for one thing, and not intentionally. He didn't set out to kill somebody, but it was his fault.
The moment I went through that intersection, in the blink of an eye, my life changed, you know, drastically, forever.
Then once he was sentenced, he was gone. You know, they just came and took him away. And then I was on my own. It was worse than that. We had had a horrible fire the week before he was sentenced, so I was also without a home on my own. And I was also pregnant at the time, and I lost the baby after the accident. The way I describe it to people is it's as big as it gets.
The real sentence I was handed at the point of impact, it won't end until my life is over.
It's a short-term decision that you make. It's just how you're going to get home or how you're going to get to wherever you're going. But the consequences are forever.
Tom's situation isn't unique. 2 out of 5 people will be involved in an alcohol-related crash in their lifetime. The results aren't always this severe, but Tom didn't think. In the last 10 years, alcohol-related crashes have been reduced by about 28%. And people like you and me have made the most progress, with a 44% reduction in our age group. But unless we keep after ourselves to be alert and always make good choices, all of that could be lost that quick.
I think one of the most difficult situations, being young and having to experience is when you lose a friend in a drunk driving accident and facing what you believe to be your own immortality.
They've made it home many, many times, so they tend to build up this false sense of security, thinking that, you know, I've made it home 20, 30 times before, it won't happen to me.
I drove a wrecker for approximately 4 years before my crash, and I come upon an accident where a drunk driver crashed into a lady and killed her head on. It should have woke me up to what drunk driving was, but I didn't see it.
He was playing keep away at the keys, and I went in the other room and I heard the door shut, and I ran out the door and he started getting in the car, and I was saying, wait, come back, and I literally was hanging on to the handle of the Porsche, and like I left treads from my tennis shoes trying to stop him. You know, I just remember standing there seeing the taillights disappear.
And I missed that curve, and my Porsche flipped end over end, throwing me 500 feet from the car. I miss having the dexterity in my hands to be able to, like, cut my food up and feed myself real well. I also miss being able to walk and get around to where I want to go.
You're starting to see, after 15 years after the accident, you see things, you look back and you see things you wouldn't have seen before, like the toll of daily taking care of people and helping them with, you know, their personal things, and it's always having to be there, making meals, helping them get dressed, brushing your teeth. It takes its toll.
I know there's things that I can't do, but I try and not think about them. I try and think about the things I can do.
When you first start out, you're injured, you think you're going to get better, you're into rehab, you're doing all your exercises, but 15 years later, you realize this is it.
If I drank, got behind the wheel of my car, I'd be asking for it. Just like Barry was asking for it. His wife Sherry was asking for something too. A normal life. Was that too much to expect? I could never fix a crash I'd caused. I could never give back a life.
I'm just your average, middle-class, working mom, have a very loving husband, 2 beautiful daughters, great life, great home. I had what I thought was the American dream. Everything was wonderful, everything was beautiful. My kids were great. My oldest daughter had graduated from college 3 weeks before, and bam! She's dead. That quick. I'm just like your mom, your dad, somebody that loves you. Mandy was doing all the right things, you guys. She had her seatbelt on. She had her shoulder harness on. If you'll look at that car, she was hit on the passenger side. Here's a piece of Mandy's car. There's just a piece of car. That's what you're counting on protecting you. It doesn't happen.
Kimberly, who's the little one, worshipped Mandy. She thought Mandy was everything. Going to stay in Mandy's room, she called it spending the night with Mandy, and it was in the same house. That was like going to Disney World for Kimberly. We waited until daylight. I said, we will not break her heart in the dark. And when daylight came around, my husband said that he wanted to be the one to tell her, and I said, okay. And he couldn't. He broke down. When I told her, I said, Kimberly, I said, you remember how Mama's always told you I'd always be with you, even if something happened to me and I was gone, that the angels were always around you and I'd always be with you? I said, Kimberly, it's not Mama, it's Mandy. This was tough because Kimberly looked at me and she said, Mama, you mean Mandy's dead? And I said, yes. And I said, somebody was drinking and driving and killed her. And she said, I can feel her, Mama. Can you feel her?
Mandy just graduated from college. I wanted to buy her a cruise or a new car or do anything, send her to law school, anything. I had to go buy her a casket. All because somebody made a stupid choice. You've got to make decisions, and you guys are hitting the point. You're getting your driver's license, or you've gotten your driver's license, and you're going to have some big decisions to make. And you're going to have to make some decisions for your friends. And it's not going to be easy. I'm not going to tell you it's going to be easy. Doing the right thing is not always easy. One person is dead. And it's affected so many. But she's gone. She's not there anymore because a woman chose to drink and drive. Bad choice. Killed my daughter. If this is the #1 killer of teenagers, and it is, drinking and driving, then you all have got to make the difference. It's up to you. I can do what I can do, but it's up to you guys. We buried Mandy at 3 o'clock on Wednesday. My husband had handed me a newspaper article and said, a young man has been killed by a drunk driver. I couldn't read it. He graduated from the same college Mandy did, Donna. I couldn't read it. I put it up. I said, I can't do that. I can't bear to do that. So about 4 o'clock in the morning, because I didn't sleep, for a long, long time I didn't sleep, I read it. On Thursday, after we buried Mandy on Wednesday, a lady called me. She said, my name is Evelina Thompson. My son was killed on Friday night. I know what you feel. I know how you feel. And she did.
I look at you all this morning. You look so happy. Everybody has just such promising faces. And I know that many of you have dreams just like Fred had dreams. Fred was a happy young man. He was 26 years old. He had dreams. He dreamed of not only finishing UNCC Charlotte as he did. He went back to work on a second degree. He dreamed about going to law school. He dreamed about becoming a CEO of a corporation one day. The dream that he had, so close, was just like this, shattered in an instant. Why? Because some individual made an unwise choice. His dad and I had gone out to dinner. We came home excited, happy. We had just built a new home, a dream for us. when a telephone call came about 9:30. Fred had just left us before we went to dinner. He walked down the stairs and said, "I'm out of here, guys. See you later." Except we never saw him later. When we walked in that night, there was a gloom, like a sink that comes into your stomach. A hole opens up, like something has just momentarily escaped from your body. It was the life of our firstborn son. So finally, after about 10 minutes, a doctor came in, and everything he started to say was in the past tense. My emotions went straight to the bottom of my feet. I just collapsed. You are at a stage in your life right now where you can not only have impact on what you do, the choices you make, but you can also have impact on the choices that your friends make. Have a good time, enjoy yourself, but don't enjoy yourself at the cost of another life.
I never knew Mandy or Fred. I'm sure I would have liked them. They had dreams just like I do. They made good decisions, and I've been known to make good decisions. We had a lot in common, but the people who ended their lives could have done things differently. Nobody made them drive drunk. They had a choice, and so do you.